Pals for Life. Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Pals for Life. Pals for Life is weekly radio for anyone who wants to enjoy World of Warcraft with some extra pals. Consider us companion material to your WoW experience, commentary on news, tips, and rumors. My name is Wilson, and I'm joined today by Randall. How are you doing?
What's up, guys? I'm doing well.
Nano?
Hey man, what's going on? Hope you guys enjoy the show.
And Lane.
Hello. Nice to meet you all.
Before we get started, there is some important business type information I want to share with you all. You can find us online at palsforlife.net, where you'll also be able to find our notes from the show today and tons of other good stuff. If you have any questions, comments, or complaints that aren't being listened to on the WoW forums, drop us a line at pals@palsforlife.net. And if you're feeling really frisky, we'll have a WoW hotline set up next week where you can call in and be heard on the air on the episode after that. Now that that's out of the way, I should probably do some background info on me and the other hosts. Randall, Nano, and I have been playing WoW since late vanilla and played through the expansions, although the last couple of years have been on and off. However, we're really excited about Warlords of Draenor and have been throwing around the idea of doing a WoW podcast, so here we are. Lane is actually a bit of an odd case in our lineup since he doesn't actually play WoW, but is a gamer himself and has had a lot of tangential experience with WoW due to being associated with us. We'll be enjoying his unfettered opinion throughout the show. So let's jump right into this. Our Spellbreaker topic, which is just a topic to get us started, is about the DDoS attacks on WoW servers. Does somebody want to fill me in on this?
Yeah, so the big thing that's been happening right now is there's been some, I guess, people who have a little too much time on their hands attacking NA servers, and it's just been really troublesome thing for a lot of people to deal with. I mean, you'll just be playing and you'll be knocked off. It's really unfortunate, and Blizzard, I hope they really jump on it, and they really haven't said anything about it themselves, so it's all word of mouth.
And, I mean, this has been a problem for a lot of games in the past week. There have been some major threats thrown around here and there, and I mean, we were talking about this earlier. What is the point of even screwing with a company like Blizzard or another big victim of this, Riot Games of League of Legends? Why would you screw with these people? They have so much money and so many people at their disposal. I don't think it's a good idea to screw around with them. But hey, some people feel like that's what they need to do.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. I mean, it's something that we're definitely familiar with dealing with online games. It's not something new.
Oh, yes.
But it is a new handle for the hackers known as Lizard Squad. That's the person claiming to be behind all of this, maybe one or more people.
So they've actually come forth and said they are behind all this?
Yeah, they have a Twitter account. I'm not going to pimp them too much, but anyway, basically the reason I was so aware of this is because I was trying to farm Time Lost Proto Drake, and guess what? I got DC'd, and I was like, what's going on? And I noticed all the servers were down, so I had to check out what was going on.
Sorry, you probably weren't going to get it anyway. So.
Nope, there was almost no chance. Let's be honest.
You don't even... It basically with cross realm zones, Lane, they've combined servers, so what used to be kind of barren zones are now actually shared by multiple servers.
Oh, so they did a server smash sort of thing?
Yeah, but it's only in zones, some zones.
Oh,
it's not
only in actual zones.
It's only in zones that aren't really filled with a lot of people normally.
That's interesting. I wonder how that works infrastructure side. That's probably going to be pretty interesting.
Well, I think Blizzard actually is testing this all out. It's some sort of tech that they want for if they ever do another MMO project that's not WoW. That would be
I heard that coming on that for that big new project they're doing, whatever you used to call it, I don't remember anymore.
Well, it was called Titan, but Titan. It had a cycle of development and then it stopped and then they rebooted it. But now I think they realize they can still make enough money off of WoW to they don't want to kill WoW early, basically.
Yeah, WoW early, 10+ years into the cycle.
So yeah, just some background info. WoW is sitting at 6.5 million players. Is that right, Nana?
Yeah, just about.
So, and it hit a 12 million player high during Wrath of the Lich King. So 6.5 million players is nothing to scoff at. Still millions and millions of dollars in the bank every month for Blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
So DDoS attacks are happening. I think they are not as much anymore. The group has switched over to attacking Sony or other companies.
Oh, Sony, yeah. That's PlanetSide and stuff. I was mentioning that earlier, how PlanetSide had one of their devs on a plane, and this hacker group, I don't know if it's this hacker group specifically, but the people who were doing the DDoS attacks threw out a bomb threat about the plane that this dev was on, and they had to land the plane because of it. So, yeah, they're getting kind of out of control at this point.
Well, let's hope that dies down. Moving on to our big game topic for the week. It's something that's been known for a little while, but we want to talk about no flying in Draenor. Draenor. I've heard
well, you
Draenor.
told me it was Draenor, so
I think it's Draenor.
It's Draenor. It's just like saying a Driney. Basically, it's the exact same thing.
Well, I saw Tom Chilton the lead designer said Draenor, but I've heard other devs say Draenor. I'm pretty sure.
It's even spelled Draenor. Like I don't know. Maybe he was just brain farting.
Dr. Draenor.
Well,
Draenor.
we'll leave the jury out on that one. But so there is no flying at all in this new expansion. Something that they introduced in the very first expansion was flying mounts. You know, you normally could have a mount once you reach a certain level, and it would help you travel quickly.
Oh.
And in the expansion, they gave you flying mounts, which let you travel in kind of this more.
Okay, I'm having flashbacks now to watching you guys playing on flying mounts in Stormwind. I get this.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, and so Lane actually does have some side experience with WoW. We have forced him to play
we made him
or
play
tried
all
to.
the time now.
Maybe I think I got to level 20, 30, somewhere in there, but I did almost exclusively raiding and PvP, because to be honest, did not like
when he says raiding, he means dungeons.
Yeah.
dungeons.
So,
of course, my bad. Uneducated.
No,
here.
no,
Well, nonetheless, I mean, it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
yeah, show. I'm just trying to get Lane's vocab up.
Oh, anyway, so is it confirmed that there's none in the whole expansion, or just the new area?
What it was saying is, on a bunch of the topics that I read, or on the forums, basically, a bunch of people are posting about it just being completely omitted from every single zone altogether.
But
Not
there's
just, you know.
reason? Did they give any reasoning behind this?
I mean, they said that they wanted people to experience the world. I think was their big.
And me and Randall had some, a little bit to say about it together. But what I think, in all honesty, it's really going to help people experience every single bit of the content that they have. Like little small hidden things, little Easter eggs that you might find that you can't find if you're flying over the continent from the top to the bottom. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I find when I'm flying around that, I'm not really looking at anything. I'm just kind of on autopilot, really. So. Pretty much.
And I mean, the biggest thing, the one that I kind of gave to him was as the main example is, whenever we used to make twinks, I mean, we used to make twinks all the time back in vanilla, and we had to run from Stormwind all the way to STV. We wanted to get to Booty Bay so that we could do the fishing competitions, things like that. Yeah, and then the thing is, most people don't even know about the Gurubashi Arena.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that was the starting point for world PvP, in all honesty. And it's just something that is going to be coming back, I think, with a bigger force in this new expansion, in my opinion, because of the lack of flying around.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was just on the WoW website, and I saw that they were giving away choppers for it, or something like that, actual, what looked like bike mounts. I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of here, have a free motorcycle because you're not allowed to fly anymore.
Well, that was actually the result.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a result of the West Coast Choppers customization.
Oh, did they do one for WoW or something?
Azeroth Choppers.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there you go.
And they had a competition between the Horde and the Alliance, basically a voting competition of, basically it's kind of a majority rules, most votes gets their own bike in the game. Well, surprise, surprise, Horde wins, and Horde gets their Horde Chopper, and Alliance gets nothing, and then Blizzard realized how divisive that was, and they're like, alright, we'll throw in the Alliance Chopper, but it has a selling price of 100,000 gold.
Oh my god.
The Alliance Chopper looks like crap anyway, so.
And it looks like crap, no one will pay 100k for that, unless they're...
sold it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy stuff on the auction house better than that chopper, honestly, for 100,000 gold.
Yeah, dude, way better.
Yeah, you can get a legion of followers just to RP behind you if you're on an RP server. So anyway, I think that price may change. It's just what was in the beta for World of Warcraft. So yeah, I think the main kind of takeaway here from the flightless expansion is that it kind of changes just how you consume the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of I read this great topic on the forums. Maybe I'll try to find it. But this guy kind of likened it to, you getting lazy and getting out of shape and doing things kind of the lazy way instead of doing them the right way. And so
that's true.
Getting on a ground mount kind of forces you to take the game the way you should be. Well, not maybe the way Blizzard wants you to, not necessarily how you should.
Oh yeah, but I mean the thing that I'm really worried about though is there are areas that you actually need flying mounts to get to them. There are complete areas that you can't even get to unless you have flying mounts. There's no flight master there or anything. I wonder what's going to happen to those areas.
To add flight masters or other ways to get up there and stuff like that.
I don't know. I just thought that was.
I think, but expanding on that, you remember how whenever Cataclysm was was introduced, what they did is they changed the terrain, everything like that. You know, they broke up Orgrimmar, everything changed, flight paths was in a different position, things like that. What I think they'll do is they'll introduce it in that way, whereas, you know, once they've crossed in through the Dark Portal, everything changes. So everything that may have been, you know, only be able to be reached by an actual flying mount, it might have changed. Who knows? You know, it's hearsay right now, but.
Oh, yeah. Also, a fun fact about supporting flying after Burning Crusade in Azeroth, because basically they designed Outlands for flight, so you could see everything in there. But in Azeroth, there are actually a lot of places that were kind of billboarded, so it'd be like a picture of a mountain in the background. So if you were to be able to fly, you would just see a 2D texture that was like kind of thrown up. So that's why you didn't have, one of the reasons why you didn't have flying with Burning Crusade in Azeroth. Anyway, I think that, you know, we'll have to wait and see how Blizzard handles flying, but one of the more interesting things that came out of a recent interview at Gamescom with Tom Chilton, who's the lead designer for the game, he kind of said that if the fans want it, we'll bring it back. And I kind of wanted to know what you guys thought about this mentality, at least, you know, that they're partially saying is how they're approaching their design of the game, that if the fans want it enough, we'll bring back flight.
I think they're just saying that so people will give it a chance, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Blizzard isn't totally offing everyone, but they really want people to, you know, experience WoW in a different light. So, and I think once people start to experience, they're totally going to forget about flying, probably, to be honest.
Yeah. And in all honesty, I feel like this is how I see it. I've talked to a couple of other people that play other different MMOs like Rift, EVE Online, and predominantly one of the reasons why they stay away from WoW nowadays is because it's too easy. That's what I've heard, and it's not just because of leveling or things like that. It's also it includes, you know, professions being able to be run through everything. Like, it's too easy, which makes sense. It does make sense. Like, say you have a lower level,
I mean, there's
you know, they can hop on a 2-seater mount.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple. It's simple. You can get somewhere. You can level a character to 60 in, you know, 3 or 4 days. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Now, what I think they're trying to do is make it a little more difficult like it was back then, because they obviously don't have the amount of subscribers that they need to. Because back then they had a mass population of people wanting to play constantly, and now it's kind of like, well, you know, if I have time for it.
Yeah,
and
very true.
Back to the
they're trying to go back to their roots, honestly.
I hope so.
This next part of the show is called Tavern Talk, which is basically news and rumors that we've collected over the course of the week. The first thing I want to throw to you guys is subscription costs going up in the UK. Basically, the subscription price in it's just the UK, is going from $8.99 in pounds to $9.99 in pounds, and that translates to $14.88 to $16.54 per month. Is that something that rubs you guys the wrong way?
I don't fully understand. I mean, of course they got to do price hikes, but this is the first one in the history. Is this the first one in the history of the US, UK, all servers?
Actually, I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure about the finishing question.
Yeah, that's the real question for me, because coming from me, I have not seen anything about a price hike before. So that's very odd if they would just price hike it $1 in a certain region if they've never done.
I don't understand why they do that. I feel like that doesn't draw anyone, honestly. I mean,
in all honesty, if you think about it, the mass number of subscribers that they used to have, they could charge, you know, they could have charged less than actual $8.99, you know, pounds per subscription. They could have charged like $6.99 because of the amount of subscribers that they had. Now the fact that they've lost a big group of the people that used to pay monthly, recurring, you know, they'd buy it ahead of time. I think they have to bump up the prices a little bit in specific regions.
So does that mean from now on that they're going to keep bumping the price as they lose customers?
Well, hold on. So there's an official, you know, post from, I think it's Blizzard Tapsalum,
sure.
One of the community managers, basically that says you can secure your current subscription price for 2 years, which is very weird that it's like for 2 years you can keep your current price. If you stay auto-renewing, basically. So if you have an auto-renewing subscription in the UK, you're fine for 2 years. So Blizzard's planning for, you know, WoW to stay around enough for 2 years to maybe up the price of the game, which is very interesting to me.
That is very odd.
Well, the thing, I guess what they're hoping to do is be able to, I don't know, because they definitely want to make the graphics better. They want to make everything a little bit, you know, edgier and things like that, because personally, I've actually been introduced to other games like Rift and things like that, and those graphics are crazy. You know, it's crazy, and I feel like, you know, WoW is starting to jump their stuff up a little bit more, and they're gonna be charging a little bit more if it's good enough, and people are gonna want to play it regardless, because there's people like me who have always loved Warcraft in general that are gonna pay no matter what amount of money they ask for. I mean, it may not be a reoccurring subscription, but they're gonna pay for it. Like, you know, I already paid $30 for 2 months. If they bumped it up to like $50 for 2 months, I'd be pissed about it, but I'm still gonna pay for it.
So, the moral of the story here is that we obey our Blizzard overlords, those of us that subscribe to World of Warcraft.
Oh god, we're screwed.
Pretty much. Loyalty doesn't pay off, apparently, in the subscription world when it comes to Blizzard.
Nope.
But yeah, I guess the sour notes of this one are basically that they hiked the price after the longest stretch we've ever had without content.
Yeah.
So for people who have been subbing to the game, it kind of feels like a kick in the pants.
Yeah, well, you're about to get this big content drop, but it is kind of, you know, like a bitter taste. Like, why are you hiking the price if we haven't gotten content in a substantial amount of time? And I mean, I understand, you know, we're getting a content expansion here in a couple of months, but you guys have kind of been in the background doing not a whole lot other than this expansion for a while, and that is definitely probably frustrating from the end of someone who's on, you know, the receiving end of this price hike. Which honestly, at this point, I'm really not sure who is. Would this be just for new players? Because most people that are, or I guess, you know, in your case, Nano, how you say you play on and off, maybe, you know, when there are new expansions. So does that mean the people that cancel their expansion and then redo it for new expansions, that's where they're going to be cashing in the most here, I guess.
Right, and to be certain, they guarantee that if you have the renewing subscription at the time of the price change, you're good, but if you do it after, you're not. And basically, the timeline on that is it's approximately 2 months prior to the price change, which is scheduled to take place at the Warlords of Draenor release. So it's a little fuzzy, but it should be around the time of the expansion drop.
Okay.
But I think you kind of have to figure out for yourself if the price is worth it.
Yeah, that's definitely it. It varies on the person if you can have it.
And like the thing is, quite a few actually quite a few people have just asked, like, well, why isn't WoW free to play just like everything else? I guess this is this is snowballing into something else, but
this may be a conversation we have later in more detail at another show, but we will talk about it today.
Okay.
Why is it a subscription model?
Well, no. What do you think we're actually paying more for?
I think it's server stuff. I'm sure, like, maybe it's more expensive to keep the servers up over there. I mean, despite getting
hundreds of thousands,
and despite being susceptible to the occasional Gecko-inspired DDoS attack, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
That's
they even true. Sign them and send them to people. That's how good they are.
So our next order of business is going to be the Warlords of Draenor Collector's Edition got announced a little while back. It's going to be $90. And does somebody want to run down the feature list of this thing? Or
I'll do it. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So on this thing, you're going to be getting a behind-the-scenes DVD and Blu-ray 2-disc set. I, assume that's making of, stuff like that. You're going to be getting the game, obviously. A collector's edition soundtrack. An art book for Warlords of Draenor. And then you're going to get a bunch of in-game content. Oh, you're also going to be getting a Black Hand mousepad. And all the in-game content, you're getting 4 things. You're getting a World of Warcraft, Dread Raven mount, and Dread Hatchling pet. Yes, I'm reading that correctly. And a StarCraft 2 portrait. No, 2 of them actually. And a Diablo 3 Warsong pennant. And a Hearthstone card back. So, yeah. This is interesting.
And let's just take a moment to say that all of the orchestra soundtrack of WoW is super on point.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft honestly has always had a very high, and you know what? Speaking about the cinematic, particularly, we didn't really talk much about the cinematic itself and what it's like.
We can.
Oh wait, we haven't even gotten there yet. Just kidding. The cinematic is beautiful, and the music that they make for it is consistently fantastic. So yeah, Blizzard is great when it comes to quality and that stuff.
Yeah, they know how to sink in the big hook.
Yeah, they definitely rustled my Jimmy. So.
Whoa!
I think the big talking point here, to me at least, is that Blizzard is such a big company now that they're giving away things in other games for pre-ordering their games.
Yeah.
In their own game, like, catalog.
Yes, they're giving things away in their other game catalogs for pre-ordering their games. That's, like, just thinking about that blows my freaking mind.
It's the new way of life for Blizzard.
It's insanity. Blizzard is nuts, man.
And another little note I wanted to talk about is that Blizzard says that this collector's edition will be in limited supply. Now, is this saying, like, is limited supply for a collector's edition? Like, collector's editions are rare, but this is a rare collector's edition.
I mean, maybe they're just reiterating the obvious.
No, I think what it is just like it was whenever I purchased the one for the Burning Crusade. It's just they're saying, because people, like I said, people who have just adored any World of Warcraft game are going to pay for it. So they don't even have to make a lot. Even if they don't have a lot of subscribers at this point, there's going to be people who are going to pay for that specific limited edition, regardless of how many people are actually playing the game.
Yeah.
So the fact is...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You continue. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, saying it's in limited supply is really just going to draw people. People are like,
Exactly.
I really better buy this because it may be worth a shot.
Yeah,
that's true.
Pretty much.
But just to kind of throw some more facts out there, Blizzard had very few amount of the original collector's edition of the very original vanilla game, and because they didn't know how big the game was going to be, there was no way they could. And then when Burning Crusade came out, they printed a lot more, or they created a lot more of those collector's editions. So maybe they're scaling back the number of collector's editions that they're printing out. But moving on to the Warlords of Draenor cinematic that came out on the 17th,
Yes.
just a while back.
That cinematic.
Every time I watched it.
Get ready, boys.
Blizzard's flexing their muscles like always. These
Pretty
cinematics
much.
that they come out with are just insanity every time. They're pretty much the reasons I get hyped for their games. You guys, when I played Diablo with you guys, I wasn't a Diablo fan. I didn't give two craps about Diablo. You show me two cinematics and then I'm, foaming at the mouth.
Yep.
And it's even the same for this one. I'm not a WoW player. I really don't care about WoW, but it gives you, I know basic stuff. I know who Garrosh is, and so, seeing him in this and seeing how he's changed things, and then, off to the big looming shot of something that I have no idea what that is, but it has to do with the future and how the orcs aren't retarded anymore. That's awesome. So we're going down that route, and so I think it's just really hype.
Well, the biggest thing, the one thing that just immediately hooked me was the music. The music, the original music, man. Like, that was the first, as soon as I saw the Blizzard flash across the screen, like in every other cinematic, I felt giddy.
Yeah.
Constantly
Blizzard,
the whole time.
They definitely have their hallmark of cinematics these days.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I want to give kind of a shout out to those voice actors too, because I thought they really nailed kind of like the orc sound.
That is absolutely every freaking cinematic, every game that Blizzard does, the voice acting and voice modification between races, any of it, it's so top notch. It feels so, real.
I mean, it feels like those voice actors are out of this world, basically.
Yeah, you feel like you're listening to a frickin' orc, or the big whatever the heck the dude was with the horns and green stuff. I don't know, whatever that.
And just a little extra sauce. Apparently Grom isn't voiced by the original voice actor, but I still think it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that big
it's convincing.
a long time ago. So.
Yeah. So even for you, Lane, despite not being up to date on all the background lore that's going on in this cinematic, you still felt excited about the game?
Yeah, it's just really well put together from a cinematic standpoint. It's something that can easily get you excited, even if you have the most basic of knowledge or none at all. You're obviously seeing something change, and they tell you, hey, this is not how it's supposed to be. And then, you get the feeling of sort of a new dawn thing going on. You even have the final scene is they were in night. It was nighttime when this started taking place, and the sun is rising as they pan away from it upon this beautiful, whatever the heck they're building that's really freaking tall, which, to be entirely honest, for me that's surprising in the first place because I don't expect orcs to be building stuff like that because I assume they are.
And the biggest thing is it still hooks people who don't have very much experience with the game, but at the same time, it brings nostalgia to those who have been with it since the beginning because they understand that the orcs, they can build big, beautiful things. Orgrimmar, for one, to begin with, And then the fact
Oh,
that
that's your definition of beautiful.
dude, it is. It's awesome. It's a citadel. It's
It looks like
reinforced
huts with
so
made
much.
out of bones and tarp.
That's all they have. But that's the thing. If you look at
Okay.
that's where the Barons come from. They have nothing. It's a barren wasteland of nothing.
That's true.
Whereas
They
the
make do.
Alliance has nothing but resources around them, like Goldshire, Westfall, Duskwood, all that good stuff.
All right.
And the deal is, when they show the last part of the Dark Portal being built up, like, I was ready to just run through the Dark Portal. I was ready to play again, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
It
shell's very
kind of makes you wonder how they're going to be painting, what sort of light they're going to be painting the orcs in this expansion. Are they going to be painting them in sort of a, better light?
Well, the thing is that there's different groups of orcs, right? That's like the main.
Yeah. There's an
Yep.
Iron Horde,
Yeah.
which is
That's the one I think you're talking about, right?
Okay.
Well, the
So-
thing is based on the lore, this is the Horde. Okay, the Horde that we knew of whenever Vanilla came out was the Fel Orcs that drank the actual demon blood. Now, the fact is, before the actual expansion, there was so many separate clans, but the fact that Hellscream is now leading every single one of them, it's just gonna make it even better. It's fantastic. I'm just a really big fanboy. This expansion is like, I'm fanboying very
Fan
hard.
service really
Well,
hard.
For someone who's a huge gnome fanatic, or a huge blood elf fanatic, is this okay that they're just honing in all on kind of this orc lore?
You know,
Well-
in all honesty, I don't think so because they don't play any part
Yeah,
in it. Like,
I am like
pretty
a little upset that I don't know where any other race or even I don't even know where the Alliance are going to play a role. Honestly,
Well,
it seems like so much a Horde thing.
Isn't this sort of the theme of the World of Warcraft expansions? Every time they seem to release a new class or something like that, and they're the focal point, unless I'm totally wrong. But I mean, the Burning Crusade was, Blood Elves, and I assume the Lich King was Death Knights? Am I incorrect there?
Well,
Yeah,
you're
pretty
a
much.
little
But,
right, but the thing is that like the past two have been like kind of really orc based.
Uh-huh.
Well, Mist of Pandaria started off as more about Pandaria.
But it ended on orcs.
Lore there.
It ended on orcs,
Yeah,
really?
pretty much.
That's interesting. Mists
Yes.
of
Yeah,
pandas
SOO.
and then orcs.
So that is, and actually, is confirmed as the final boss for World
Spoilers,
War.
Yeah.
everybody. Spoilers.
Oh, that's how we do it. Reverse tag.
Yeah.
So
We trick you into it. So
Well,
too late.
see, the thing is people don't understand. I mean, Blizzard is gonna stick to their original content from games prior to this. Like Reign of Chaos, Warcraft, like just the original Warcraft RTS was nothing but humans
and
dwarves,
orcs.
And orcs. That's it. So essentially, they're going back to the very, very beginning before the Alliance was built. It's just, it's just basic Draenei, humans. Of course, they're still going to put all the Alliance classes that they have, or races that they have in there now. That's not going to make a difference. But what they're trying to do is go back to their beginning lore. I guarantee it. I think they're going full circle right now.
yeah, and if any of you guys are serious lore buffs that have something to say about them changing lore because they are going back in time and kind of redeciding how things go down, feel free to drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. But the next topic I want to talk about is Mists of Pandaria dropping from $20 to $10.
Oh.
They're dropping the price of the expansion on Battle.net, so you can buy it digitally through Blizzard for $10, or you can go to Amazon and get a physical copy if that's still Russell's or Jimmy's for $10 as well.
Don't use my phrase, man. All right.
I don't know if you invented that, but
Jimmy's were rustled.
I think I did.
About the
I think
rustling
you may have-
Jimmy's.
you still got rustled. Do you think that's? I mean, it's definitely a good way to sell the next expansion,
Honestly,
right?
that's almost... that isn't, but almost tempting enough for me to want to go pick that out. I mean, I'm not interested enough in WoW to be like, hey, I'll go pick that up. But at that price and 1 month
you still-
I mean, it's like a Steam sale, right? You might as well just buy it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You don't
that
even
kind
have
of price.
Cataclysm.
Right? You don't even have some of the other expansions, but you're gonna buy that one.
Yeah, screw
You're
it.
right.
At this point.
I think the reasoning behind it, honestly, is they're just doing it. They're dropping it to as low as possible to where they still make some sort of profit, so that people won't have to spend $30, $40 for Pandaria, and then again have to shell out another $50 just for Warlords.
I mean, let's
them
face
to
it, if
already
you're buying
be,
Mists of Pandaria, you're buying Warlords of Draenor, basically, right?
Exactly.
Well, this late in the
Exactly.
game.
Yeah, I can't really see that ever going lower unless, we're talking the end of WoW's life cycle and they're doing like a 99% sale on everything and maybe it's like $22.50 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know,
We got
and
a
I
long
thought
time
they
before that.
reached
Yeah.
that point. I thought they reached that point whenever they dropped every single expansion to $20, which includes Vanilla, Burning Crusade, Wrath, and Cataclysm, and then you could get Pandaria for $20. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
It was
I
like a
don't.
Christmas sale. Yeah, you could get everything for like $40.
Going out of
including-
business sale.
Pretty much, including a 60-day prepaid card for like $20.
Oh,
So
dang.
you were getting every single expansion and 2 months of WoW time for $60. It
That
made
is-
me livid. Like, I was angry.
Is it bad that I like just imagined like this inflatable tube man outside of Blizzard Studios and they're just selling the game?
Going out of business sale.
We need some great TV ads.
Yeah.
I thought they were doing something. I thought they were going out of business the way that they were selling everything for so cheap. I was
They
like,
just
cool.
Some money for Heroes
They're
of the
just-
Storm or something.
They're just trolling everybody till they made like 5 new games, so.
Pretty much.
And
Yeah.
just some historical reference here. Mists of Pandaria was released in September 2012. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
been a little while, guys.
It's been-
Almost 2 years since this thing came
And
out.
do we know the average time between expansions? Is it about 2 years or does it hover around 1?
I think it's about two.
Just about two.
About 2?
Back in the day, Blizzard initially, boasted that they were going to be doing an expansion a year, and that goal did not happen. I think it is like a year and a half or 2 years. I think it's a year and a half for the average. I'm not 100% on that.
That's fair.
But-
I mean, it is a pretty big content drop, so it's understandable. They're kind of redesigning their world, too, in some of these. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess the funny part here is the monthly fee is more expensive than the game,
Yeah, pretty much.
which is one of the comments I read, so that's great from an article. But I guess our final order of business is there's an Imgur link out there that has the new PvP armor sets.
Ooh.
So when you check out the show notes at palsforlife.net, you can actually see this link. It's got all the new PvP sets for all the classes. Some of these are pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy
Uh,
art-wise. There are a few of them. There are some that are drop dead with
I
me,
think,
and of course
like,
I'm
as
the
a
least.
whole, like, I'm on the side of, like, wow, a lot of these just look like crap. You know? Like, if you look at, like, the Hunter one, I mean, I don't know what they were thinking with that. And the Mage one, I mean, it looked, Wilson, he said something good earlier. He's graduated at level 90, but he was at the bottom of his class. So,
Poor guy.
That's true. I do have good jokes. Whenever I'm off the air.
Yeah, he doesn't have any on the air, just off the air. He's got a few good jokes here and there.
So I do think Mage probably lost out here. Although the Paladin one, what's going on with the Paladin armor?
I'm pretty
think
sure
that-
they haven't colored it yet. I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it looks like.
And I was in awe whenever I saw it. It's
It's still
it's
cool,
a different. Yeah, I still
Very
think
cool.
it's pretty cool, but I don't know.
So,
I
do you have
personally
any-
think it still looks pretty alright.
Do we have any favorites between us?
Yes.
Possibly?
If
Wanna
you think
round
about
robin
the
it?
Warrior one, I haven't seen a good solid Warrior PvP set since this one. And I mean, when I say that, of course, the ones for Pandaria, they were pretty cool, awesome, things like that. But they weren't simple enough, I guess. They were just,
they're
we haven't
going, like,
seen one.
crazy with a lot of their new stuff. Like, there's,
Yeah,
like, a whole
yeah.
bunch of, like textures and different things sprouting out. It's like, you don't need all that to have a cool armor.
No, you don't. Cause I mean, you guys remember, original PvP gear, how awesome it was, and just to have that
plain,
gear.
just plain gear too. Nothing crazy.
Exactly. And I think that that's what they're going back to some extent though. Just to some extent, because they still have quite a bit of detail in the actual armor and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely more than they used to.
Lane, which armor strikes you the most?
I think I actually like the Shaman. That's really weird. I don't know. It might be
Oh.
just because it's on the Draenei, and I've always kind of liked how the Draenei look. They have an interesting body build set. I don't know. I really like the pauldrons. They do a lot for me, and I also kind of like the hood too. How it's got the whole
I can dig
weird.
the hood. Yeah.
Yeah, the hood's
Yeah.
got a predator thing going on.
Although honestly, that looks more like a rogue hood than a shaman hood.
Yeah, it
Yep,
doesn't.
it
It,
really
honestly
does.
doesn't look too much like a shaman to me, but I like the whole
With
the
hoods.
slightly
Oh.
feathered at the bottom, and then the lava crack on the pauldrons looks cool. And I like the color set too that matches the whole fire thing going on. It's very nice. I like it.
You know what I think makes it look even better? Like you said, said before, was the fact that it's on a Draenei. It just, the bulky armor looks a lot cooler.
Yeah, on
And
the Draenei because
I
they
have
have
to-
really
yeah.
big bodies.
Exactly, and I think that's why the warrior armor looks even better. It's a lot
so
cooler because it looks
big.
like
I mean, he just looks
and
like
it
a
looks
massive
like
man. I mean, really, look at him.
Yeah.
What a
It
mess.
looks like an original knight. Like his helmet looks like a knight's helmet. You know, I think it's just because
It
of
looks
the
kind of like
slits in the
it looks kind of barbaric, which really fits the World of Draenor theme. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yes.
Like pointy, like almost, kind of like poorly crafted in a way, almost, but sturdy as hell.
Yeah. And this is super visual, so you guys will have to check this out on the show notes. But Randall, which strikes you the most?
That druid set, dude. The color scheme is what gets it for me. Those vibrant colors are killing it.
Nice.
Yep.
And oddly enough, I still got to go with the paladin as the one I like, and I think it's only because I want to see like this paladin like do some holy stuff with all this kind of like darker kind of not.
See?
It really looks like
gear.
Diablo gear, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I just get like this Batman
like
complex
Crusader
going
stuff
on. Yeah.
I think the weapon helps it a lot too, and we only get to see a few weapons here.
Yeah.
But obviously that's going to be the two-handed sword. But it fits like what Randall said. It's like the barbaric theme. It's not really too much. It's not too
like a hacked off
detailed and everything like that.
Face attached to it. Or
pretty
something.
much like an elephant tusk on the end of
Yeah.
it. It's just like, well, they had to use what they had. And I think that's going to be a big.
Yeah, these armor sets are really interesting, and obviously, they are all pretty good despite some of our complaints because we all had different favorites. Our listener quest for the week, which is basically us sending a challenge out to you to drop us some commentary or an answer. Who do you think wore it best? Which class PvP armor do you like the most?
Oh yeah.
Who wore it best?
So,
Who wore
Okay.
it best? Best dress.
all right, that's
Oh,
who wore it best. So tell us who wore it best at pals@palsforlife.net. You can drop us a line there. The next section of our show is called the boss fight, and basically this is where Lane becomes a dungeon boss or a raid boss, and gives us some beef he has with WoW, and the rest of us, me, Nano, and Randall, have to defend it, or defend WoW, or kind of challenge him on these points to kind of come to some sort of meaningful discussion. We're not just trying to circle jerk around
we're
the WoW
not
or
trying to
anything.
just say that we're right and he's wrong or anything. We're trying to come to something, but I definitely want to win. So
Some kind of
God.
mutual agreement. I mean, if we want the loot, we have to win, obviously, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
that loop.
okay.
Right.
Or
So
we
we'll
need some
definitely,
tanking loot.
so we will let the listeners, you guys, we want to hear you guys weigh in and see how we did on the boss fight and
How we can improve
No.
all that jazz.
and if we wiped or not,
Oh,
ultimately,
God, yeah.
'cause we don't know. So Wayne, what's your beef with WoW?
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it pretty general this time around because honestly, I don't want to go into any of these uneducated. So I've been looking in on a little bit. And, this one doesn't really take too much thought, but we're just gonna start with questing and how I think WoW has semi-destroyed the idea of questing for everything ever. Not really that bad, but you know what I mean. WoW has sort of criminalized questing in the same way of go here, get that, come back, go there, kill that, come back. WoW's questing, and this is very apparent in my first 20 to 30 levels of the game, which were the only levels, by the way. I just skipped all the questing. It was so freaking boring. And I'm not sure how it ever got to that point, or if maybe they just didn't think about it, or maybe they just didn't care too much and were trying to make the better parts of the game. I don't know. But WoW got so popular that so many other services thought it was a great idea, and it sort of spread like a little bit of a wildfire in a bad way. Now, I know we're getting away from it. We're not WoW specifically. I have no idea how higher level quests in WoW work. I'm sure there are good
Pretty much
quests
the
out
same
there.
thing.
Yeah.
Thing, if that's
Kind of similar.
Never mind. Okay, debunked. But basically, I think we're finally getting out of that phase in other games. I still have no idea about WoW. But I really dislike the questing in WoW, and that is my proposal.
so you really don't like kind of that fetch quest system, is what you're
Yes,
saying, right?
fetch quests
Right.
are just freaking boring. Like,
Well,
ugh.
I think
Yeah,
the first thing is that, and I'm not saying you did this. I'm not like calling you out or anything, but I think a lot of people when they quest, and I'm guilty of this too, but mainly because I played the game so long, like I've already like experienced a lot of it. People don't read the quests and stuff, right? So you're not getting any of like the what's going on like as you're doing the quest. There are a lot of fetch quests, but most of them like have some kind of intent with it.
yeah, like a story attached
Yeah.
to something.
And they should. I mean, really, I think that is also slightly Blizzard's fault. They should draw on that a little more and like make the player experience that better.
Well, it used to be where the quest text would actually kind of write out, so you'd have to kind of read it before
Yeah,
going on
yeah.
it. But now,
It just
Instead of
is.
just
I
instant
think-
gratification with the pop-up.
this was early.
Yeah, a long time ago. Vanilla.
That was before
Yeah,
I.
you just-
That was definitely before I played.
Yeah,
But
that
I mean,
vanilla
I think this is honestly sort of apparent in what you guys say. How leveling has been devolved to a form where you can do it in 4 days and get to level 60.
Well,
I'll
now
say
you can
this.
pay $90 or $60 to get to 90. But go ahead, Donna.
So there is no leveling, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
Well,
the thing is,
not to 100.
I'm going to harp on the quest thing that you're talking about, Lane.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you this. Right now, as the expansions kept going on and on and on, you're right. It's gotten a lot more just fetch questy. I don't know, that's not a term, but I'm going to say fetch questy. And, what they did is they wanted to make things easier for people to level. Of course, there's going to be people who have to level instead of purchasing, $60 worth of Battle.net credits to boost your character. And they wanted them to be able to level faster. And fetch questing is going to be the easiest thing because all you do is go collect something, bring it back, you're done. Whereas back, in vanilla and things like that, when you progressed as a quester, so to speak, you were actually going through different quest chains. There was lots of different things that you could do, lots of little special trinkets that you could use and things like that. Of course, at the end of the day, it's still going to be you're fetching some specific item for a specific person. But they got lazy pretty much and started to just throw a quest out there to where you go kill so many of these for no reason. Whereas back in the day, what they did is you go kill all of these because it fits this part of the quest chain, and then you get something fun. You have to find a specific way to get somewhere, and it was more about adventure. Like I said, obviously now the only reason that they're wanting to do that is because the community they were just being very whiny about how hard it was to quest, how hard it was to find things, how hard it was to get another level up and things like that. They listened to the people and gave the people what they wanted, and now the people want something else. Pretty much is what it comes down to.
Yeah, like it's all your fault. Is what he's saying, dude.
I'm so sorry. I didn't
much.
whine about it. Hey, I just skipped it and went to
Sounds like you were just
PvP
whining about
and
it.
stuff.
Well,
I
I'll
just
throw-
skipped it though. I didn't whine on forums and crap. So
See,
Not
and
guilty.
I want you to understand, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm also not saying that you're right. Because
Yeah, there's 2 points.
if people actually took the time to read in depth what the quests were saying, like Wilson and Randall were saying, then they would be able to understand that there are quest lines out there that you can do that have more content in them. But people want instant gratification as far as being able to do dungeons, as far as being able to get money to get gear that they can use to get to dungeons. And I think they really focused on dungeons pretty much. Instances. That's it. That's what people wanted to do. So
I like
they
them.
started
They were
putting a lot of quests in the instances that you could complete in the actual instance itself. So
Well, I want to
that makes sense.
go ahead.
throw my hat into the ring on this one. I think that part of the reason why Blizzard is doing the boost to 90 and removing flying mounts from the game is that they want everybody to be experiencing the content together, because I think that everyone who's done some questing a while can admit that despite, whether or not it's annoying having people questing in the area around you, it does make it interesting. Having these emergent experiences with other players, whether they be Horde or Alliance, if they're the same faction as you or not, it's really cool going on a quest and be like, oh my god, this guy keeps taking my mobs. And kind of like having to deal with that makes it a lot more interesting than just killing mobs by yourself and lock mode on.
I mean, that's the difference between like a single player and like a multiplayer game, right? You know what I mean?
Right. So I think that the MMO, like social interaction, makes World of Warcraft interesting and can make those very mundane experiences have, kind of this X factor, if you will.
But I can still agree with Lane to an extent, because I think Blizzard needs to do probably a better job of spicing up and making it a better experience on that note, right?
Yeah,
Because right now you can hardly
that.
tell. Like sometimes.
There have been other games trying to hit this node that you're just talking about for years now. Guild Wars, Firefall, they all have things where they're trying to gather people in the random open world in the specific places to create, moments and stuff like that. And I think Guild Wars is probably the best example of it. I remember coming across a few times when, go kill this guy, and randomly there's another person doing it at the same time. They helped me out. It was really cool. Like, I don't know if I could have done it without them. It's awesome. And so games have been trying to get to it.
That's how it used to be. That's how content used to be completed, was you actually having to be social in games with people.
Yeah.
You didn't do any looking for raid, or you didn't do any, battleground just random queues. No, what you did is you would talk to people on your server, get to know people on your server, get to know your guild. That way you had people to do these things with and have fun with. So it was also a social aspect that people are not getting a hold of anymore in game, just because, oh, I hate people, things like that. You gotta learn to actually work with others in the game so that you can complete content that you want to. I think that's one of the big things that hasn't been really forced upon us as far as, in-game content now. People are just like, oh, I can do it by myself, or I can go to looking for...
Yeah, that's true. You could just, hop into a queue and kind of take care of any content that you want. And, to throw even some more interestingness to the mix, I mean, there used to not even be battlegrounds. You used to have to walk all the way out to some, contested location and just fight someone from the opposite faction.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah, so, I mean, you used to be able to, and then you had to walk out to the battleground. You had to walk all the way out of the battleground, and now you can just queue up for it.
So the ghettoists.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how these features, that are just, get introduced and taken away from the game, like flying mounts or what have you. But, I mean, I don't know, it's a very interesting thing, talking about the criminalization of quests and that delivery of content.
Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty.
Yeah, I don't know if we won that boss fight or not. It seems like we kind of did a little kumbaya there at the end.
Yeah, we all kind of kumbaya and held hands and just agreed that it's sort of off.
So maybe we're going to have some more, inflammatory boss fights in the future, but that was our first one. I think we may have gotten some loot out of it.
Maybe I'll try for more polarizing stuff next time.
So this next section of the show is called Trade Chat. It's basically a chance for you, the audience, to get involved with the show. Drop us a line on the email address, or starting next week, leave us a voicemail on our WoW hotline, or if you want, send your own audio files. We'd love to get your feedback and, make this show a little more interactive, and we'll give some commentary on what you guys have to say. And you can even pimp your guilds if you want. I don't know if people pimp guilds anymore on podcasts, but that's something we're totally down to do. But otherwise, I'm going to close this thing out. Randall, Nano, Lane, it's been great having you guys here.
Yeah, thanks.
Hope you guys have enjoyed it.
Hope y'all enjoyed it, everybody. Adios, muchachos.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Heyo.
So until next time, this has been Pals for Life.
See ya.
We done here?
Is it bad that I just imagine this inflatable tube man outside of Blizzard Studios and they're just selling the game?
Going out of business.
Yeah, it all.
Fine.
Yeah, close the Facebook.
Close the
I do
Facebook.
not want to hear.
You boys are something else, I tell you what.
Maybe you should talk like that. We get the ladies involved.
All you girls are something to be special about. I tell you what, you don't turn no fiddle though. Yeah. Alright, I'm done.